Hi guys, here is my preview for Sunday's Le Crunch match, France against England. France starting life under new coach Fabien Galthié, who takes over as head coach after being assistant coach at the World Cup. And England continue under Eddie Jones, but a lot of question marks about England after their World Cup final defeat and a lot of hype around this French team and new French coaches. I'm going to talk about the game, the teams, and how I see it going. France starting with a new captain in Charles Olivon, the Toulon back rower, who replaces Guillaume Guiraudot. Olivon had an excellent World Cup, I thought. He was brilliant, especially in the quarterfinals against Wales. Scored a very good try that game. I'm not sure about him as a captain, but we'll see how he does. I think he's definitely a very talented back rower. But as a captain, obviously, it's a different kettle of fish in international rugby. Obviously, a lot of new players in this French team. New caps in Mohamed Heous, pardon me if I pronounced that wrong, and Anthony Bouthier, both of Montpellier, both playing well for Montpellier this season. And they get the nods in at tight head and at fullback. The key players, I think, for France in this team are Viry Vakawara at 13. I think the half-back pairing of Dupont and Intermac. I think potentially they can stay together and stay fit and they're in form. They can be as good as any half-back pairing out there. And elsewhere in the team, exciting wingers as you'll ever see in any team ever in Damien Penaud and Teddy Thomas. It wouldn't surprise me if Penaud, somewhere down the line, switches to centre. I mean, that could be a heck of a pairing, him and Viry Vakawara, as the centre pairing. But the thing with this French team is the lack of experience, which is very evident. If you look at it, the most cap player, Gaël Fickou, with 51 caps. Their second most cap player in the second row, Bernard Leroux, with 37, which says a lot about what you need to know. But it's clear Fabien Galthié is going by form. He's looking ahead to the 2023 World Cup to some degree and knows that he's going to have to get a team gelling together going forward. And that's clearly what is in his mindset here, as well as picking foreign players like Cruz, the new blindside flanker for France, and other players in the team, because in the squad there was a lot of Lyon and Bordeaux players who are absolutely flying in the top 14 right now. Yeah, just a suggestion that this squad on paper is very exciting, but the French being French, there's still a lot of unpredictability there and question marks as to how they can go over a full 80 minutes. A lot of people are hyping this French team up as potential contenders for the Six Nations this year. I've got my question marks about that. I still don't think they're quite there yet. If they've got young players and they've got certainly the foundations there to build towards 2023, but I still think they're in the early stages and they're not quite there yet, but they've got a lot of talent without question. I think also a lot of the hype has come from the fact that Shaun Edwards is now their defence coach, which you think, given what traditionally France are like and what Shaun Edwards is like as a coach, you couldn't get more polar opposites. Could you? I think that's going to be very interesting to see like, because with Wales, when he was a defence coach, he'd be giving them a rollicking if they messed up so badly. With France, how much are they going to take in? How much is his extreme discipline in the way he disciplines and coaches defence? How much of that is going to stay in the French players' heads enough through a game? Because obviously all teams concede tries sometimes. So that's going to be, like I said, very interesting to see. But like I said, a lot of potential in this French team. At Paris, I think against anyone that will favour him, I think they'll make Paris a fortress again in the next couple of years. They got, of course, England, Italy and Ireland coming there in this Six Nations. I think they'll all have tough games, but again, in terms of building the blocks, I think there's still problems with the French grassroots game in the top 14 that need sorting, but long term, don't write this French team off whatsoever. England have gone with a new fullback in George Furbank of Northampton. Seen bits and pieces of him at Northampton. He looks a very handy player. Runs good lines very well. Can finish off tries. Decent positional play as a fullback as well, from what I've seen of him. Elliot Daly moves to the left wing. Johnny May on the right wing. That's going to be interesting to me because I always think Johnny May is a better left winger. He's more effective there. The right wing, he's sort of, the times I've seen him play there, he's kind of in and out. I don't think he's as effective there. Elliot Daly obviously on the left because a very effective left winger, and he's got a very good left boot, which helps his case there. Still going with the Ford Farrell 10-12 axis. Worked well enough at the World Cup, of course, until the final. I think Eddie's maybe, I don't know, I'm still a bit dubious at some elements of that, because I can get with regards to a kicking game and an expansive game why they're continuing to try and push for that. But I think there's a lot better options out there. I understand Henry Slade's injured just now, but I do think that this is just my opinion. I think it's a bit better with Farrell at 10, Tuilagi at 12 and Slade at 13. I think they can get a lot more variety. Slade's left boot helps them, of course, obviously. And I think they're a lot better. And Tuilagi at 12, as well as being a crasher of the ball, I think he's a lot more effective defender at 12 than he is at 13. My opinion, of course. And elsewhere in the pack, they've gone for Tom Curry at 8. I'm not sure about this, as much as I think Tom Curry's a very good player. He's a workhorse. He is got very good feet and hands, but I'm a bit so-so of him at 8, because I think at 8 you need a bit more power than he does in terms of his carrying. Not that he's a bad carrier at all. I want to say that, but he's more an athletic, lanky kind of player. And I think at number 8, you have a bit of power about you to make sure you're getting over the gain line at the base of scrums. And I'm not sure how Tom Curry will do with that, because there's a lot of positional differences between number 8 and playing in one of the flanker positions. I think it might have been a better option to go with Sam Underhill at 8 from the players England picked in their squad, obviously. And Courtney Laws, obviously there as the extra workhorse, gives them an extra line-out option at 6 as well. Interesting how in the front row they've gone with Joe Marler and Kyle Sinclair as the two main props, both of whom haven't been in the best of form in recent weeks. Same with Ben Youngs at number 9. He's not been in form at all since he got back from the World Cup. But Eddie's going with tried and tested for the most part here, so I can sort of see why, but I would have thought in some positions they might look to get a bit more of the youth in. Maybe give someone like Ben Spencer more of a chance. Dan Robson's back playing again for Wasps, so they could have been options, but obviously Eddie's stuck with Ben Youngs at 9 and Willie Hines as the reserve 9. So how do I think this game's going to go? I think England's form in the World Cup, as I said, a lot of their players are coming into the Six Nations not in the best of form. I think they maybe had a bit of a World Cup hangover from what I've seen. And then obviously all the problems going on with Saracens right now. There's going to be a lot of questions as to how much that's going to affect the mindset of the England players. With the players they have who are Saracens players, there's going to be a desperation to prove themselves in the England shirt and to put all the troubles at Saracens behind them and to really show their case. But also that desperation can sometimes have a negative effect psychologically, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think the hype around Sean Edwards as French coach, I don't think we're going to see the full fruition of his defensive discipline yet, but again, I think we'll see flashes of it in this game, but I don't know how much is going to really sink in with the French players until maybe a couple of years, maybe a season or two down the line. We'll see how that goes. My prediction for this game, in terms of how they're going to play, I think England with the Ford Farrell are going to look to spread the ball where they can. They're going to be looking to target France at the set pieces, have very solid set pieces. I think they're going to try and kick in behind France a lot to try and catch them out like they did at Twickenham last year. I expect Elliot Daly and Johnny May to be chasing a lot of kicks and to trying to cause the French back three problems. With Courtney Laws in there, clearly as the extra line-out option, as I said, they're going to try and disrupt France at the line-out. With regards to France, the old cliche, you never know which French team's going to turn up. As I said, I think we will see patches of Sean Edwards' defensive discipline in there, but I don't think it'll be enough over 80 minutes. And I think Fabien Galtier, we already saw at the World Cup little bits of his coaching in the team in terms of how France were structured going forward, in terms of how they were offloading and their support lines and such. It looked a lot better when Fabien Galtier came on board the team than when the previous 2 years under Jacques Brunel. I think we're going to see that come on a bit, so that could be very exciting to watch. I mean, I think this French team are going to try and throw the ball about a bit. But again, the question mark, like at the World Cup, can they keep it up for 80 minutes to cause England enough problems to be in with a chance of winning at the end? My predictions for the score, I think England are just going to scrape it. I think it'll just be by one score though. I think it could be a very exciting game. Both teams definitely can win it. And I think we're going to see a lot of open rugby, but we're also going to see a lot of cagey rugby up front as well. I think we'll see a mixed bag. Hopefully not too many handling errors, but you never know there. That's my thoughts on the game, guys. Hope you like what I had to say. Enjoy the match on Sunday, and I'll catch you later on.